Hello and welcome to the Monday Morning Wrap here on Sports Tree Ltd. Folks, I'm Conor McGregor and we've got another great show lined up for you today. We're going to wrap up what I would argue to be the greatest weekend in sports since the outbreak of COVID-19. Then we'll move into our stump and bump of the week. We'll update you on the bracket challenge, and then we'll obviously get into our weekly menu of sporting events and our trivia question. But it all starts with our weekend wrap up. And folks, Tom Brady is heading to his 10th Super Bowl. Did you know that since Tom Brady has joined the Buccaneers, that 3 Tampa Bay teams have now competed or will compete for championships? Obviously, the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Tampa Bay Lightning, who won the Stanley Cup. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs punched their ticket to their second consecutive Super Bowl appearance with a win over the Bills. Bear Down, Breakdown will break down everything that you need to know before the Super Bowl next week. We do have a bye week this week, obviously, with no football happening. But we're going to get right into it now with our bracket challenge for our users. As we said, we have one perfect bracket remaining, but standing in third place right now is Alan Greenberg, Peter Godber, and Tyler Becker. They all have 5 points. With 6 points is Grady Sass and Nick Whitelaw. And our only perfect bracket remaining is Matthew Neratlis. Remember, it's still anybody's challenge with 3 points going out to whoever gets the Super Bowl correctly. Take a look at the list of prizes here, and remember that $500 goes out to our grand prize winner. First place gets $500. Next up, UFC 257 was the night of the underdogs, and my oh my were the dogs ever howling. 7 out of the 9 fights across the prelims and the main card saw the underdogs getting their hand raised, and that's absolutely huge. Obviously, the biggest being Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier earned his revenge on Conor McGregor. He KO'd the Irish superstar inside 2 rounds. Since the fight, Conor and Dustin have both alluded that Conor was more into his boxing preparation mindset, and that was the first time we've ever seen Conor use that wide stance as a boxer. Usually he uses that karate stance nice and tight and not as much weight on that front leg. Remember, with the boxing stance, all that power is about weight transfer, and if you neutralize McGregor's lead leg the way Poirier was able to do, you take away not only mobility but his power, and that is why he was able to knock him out. So congratulations, Dustin. Executed that absolutely perfectly and quite frankly shocked the world. So congratulations to Dustin Poirier. We cannot confirm what will come next for Dustin Poirier. He just wanted to get back to his family in Louisiana, and who could blame him after what a performance that was. As for Khabib Nurmagomedov, well, he seems to be staying retired, and Conor McGregor, well, he's clamoring for a rematch. His head coach, John Kavanagh, spoke to Ariel Helwani today on ESPN, and that's what he had to say, that Conor McGregor and his camp, they are dying for the rematch, and if he doesn't get it, he may fade away in the boxing. So now that you're all caught up with Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, let's talk about Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler absolutely sparked Dan Hooker inside the first round, and he proved the UFC fans that he is the real deal. All in all, UFC 257 was an excellent card loaded with upsets that did over 1.6 million pay-per-view buys. And in other combat sports news, Ryan Garcia and Manny Pacquiao have agreed to terms to a potential bout. This should be a fun display of speed and skill in old versus new, which leads us to our bump and stump of the weekend. We just said it on UFC 257. It was the weekend of the underdogs. So you all get our bump of the week. And as per our stump of the weekend, well, that has to go to Otman Azitar. Now, who's that? Well, he was a guy that was supposed to fight on UFC's 257's card. He is a lightweight that is undefeated within the promotion and tried to sneak somebody on to fight Island. And guess what? Not only did he get cut from the card, Dana White kicked him out of the UFC. That's right, completely snipped from the roster. You're a stump and you deserve it. As for our appetizer of the week, it has to be MLB baseball. There is still a bunch of free agents that need to be signed, and we'll walk through those in a second. But first, we have to tip our hats to Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron passed away earlier this weekend. He was a legend of the game. Rest in peace, Hank. While there weren't too many big signings over the weekend, there are still a lot of great players still available in the free agent market, highlighted by Trevor Bauer, Marcell Osuna, Justin Turner, Jackie Bradley Jr., Jock Peterson, and make sure you keep your eye on your favorite teams as well for all the comings and goings. Our sporting entree of the week is NBA basketball, and there are 20 teams in action tonight across the association. Lots of important road games this week as East Coast teams travel to the West Coast and vice versa. Most importantly, for our fantasy GMs out there, we're going to take a look at our NBA fantasy up and down. The first guy that you have to add is Justin Holiday. If he's available, he's averaging 12.5 points per game in the past 4 games and has recorded his first double-double of the season on Sunday and a season high in minutes. If Justin Holiday is available and you need some depth at the small forward position, make sure you get him into your lineup. And as for our player to drop, or better yet, start shopping him, is Draymond Green. The big man seems to have lost a step this season. He's averaging under 5 points per game and under 5 rebounds per game. Obviously, he's a big name that still touts trade value, so make sure you go shopping and see what your return could be for him. Well, there are 20 teams in action in the NBA on Monday night. Tuesday night sees 26 teams taking the ice in the NHL to face off, and that leads us to our MKF play of the day. For our MKF play of the day, we're going to take a look at the only game on the ice tonight in the NHL. It's the Vancouver Canucks hosting the Ottawa Senators, and we're going to have to take more on Braden Holtby's save line. This season, in his 4 appearances, he's made a minimum of 28 saves, plus Ottawa is a young, fiery team that likes to throw the puck at the net, and that's for Brady Tkachuk with his shots on goal plus blocks line. We're also going to have to take more on that, as he's averaging 4 shots on goal over the last 3 games. So with the blocks there, you should be safe. Make sure you use the code SportsTree when you sign up for Monkey Knife Fight, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus up to $50. For our NHL fantasy up and down, if you need a blue liner that can be equally productive on the score sheet and in his own zone, look no further than Connor Murphy. Connor Murphy is on a 4-game point streak with 2 goals and 3 assists over that span. Our next ad is left winger Adrian Kempe. He's also on a 4-game point streak, amassing 3 goals and 2 assists over that time frame. Well, you should definitely be picking those players up. As for our players that you should be putting down, the first one has to be Jeff Skinner. He's registered just 1 assist this season, and over his last 2 games, he's had less than 13 minutes of ice time, so it's time to move on from Jeff Skinner. And our next guy that you should start shopping is Seth Jones. Seth Jones has recorded just 1 assist all season, and Columbus has had their fair share of problems. As for a trivia question on this week's edition of Monday Morning Wrap, remember, the grand prize is NHL tickets, so we're going to keep this one in the NHL. Who's the player that has recorded the most points in a single game in NHL history? All you have to do is log on to SportsTree or sign up today. Remember, upgrading your subscription is also an upgrade in your chances to win. So head on over to SportsTree and subscribe today. Folks, we are dropping these today, our pink clothing line in honor of Valentine's Day. So head on over to our pro shop and check it out. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's edition of the Monday Morning Wrap. Folks, I'm Conor Roundtree, and that's a wrap.